Master Grade New Gundam version KA. Hey, what's up again everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs, 2Bs, gundam.tk, and the weapons and all the accessories are all put together here for the version KA of the new Gundam, the 2.0 in effect. So let's check out what the new technology has brought in terms of all of the pain that Amuro can send out with an EK Fangs. Here you can see the two totally different beam sabers, the custom beam rifle there, the new hyper bazooka. You've also got the shield without any decals or decals on them. And you can also see the fin funnels here, well 5 of them anyway. And you're going to have that massive base there which is going to hold up both the Gundam and those funnels once they're deployed. And here's a quick look at the plates that have been emptied or how much they have been. This was for all the beam rifles so you won't get that. But you can see here the way that you're going to be getting probably just these two parts here chopped out. If you buy the double fin funnel expansion pack here, same thing for the navy blue there and also for the white. These will probably just be omitted there altogether and you'll just get this section of the plate printed out. Some more blue there, the V-fin is still in there. Most of those are going to go into the bazooka and also the gray joints for the insides. One of the first things I noticed as I was putting these together is that instead of having a lot of deep channels, it's going to be a lot more edging as opposed to lining. And so a lot of that I've just chosen to omit. You could add it on Dalong thick if you want, or of course you can do it however you want with ink or a $2 lining marker. The beam rifle itself is going to have some white parts there, pretty simple, just two large parts pop on this trigger here. And then you've got this part which is going to go on there well. And this is a long blue part here which is going to go on top of this separate white part. So if you wanted to paint that up or metallicize it or do something like that, and also good lining opportunities in there, either way it's going to look pretty good. And down here you have a pretty simple barrel, and you can see that it's actually got a bit of a hole in it there, top and bottom, but you're not going to have any green there for scopes or the like. That's going to be addressed though here with the Hyper Bazooka, which first of all is going to have a nice piece off the A-plate there for the green that's just going to go in. It's actually going to sit a little bit off-center. There's a blue part on the inside there, and you're going to have to slide it down a little bit left and right to make sure it's actually right in the center before you cap it off with this white piece. And you do have the option of putting on another green seal if you want to make it more reflective. And down here at the end there's also going to be another clear piece and again another seal that you could use. But in terms of the overall body, you've always got to love it when they're not just going to give you a gray bazooka. Mark II style, when they actually give you the white, it's always a lot more fun, whether it's for the 178 or the RX-78 too. And you just saw there the slide gimmick as you're able to fold it up if you want to actually attach it onto the back of the new Gundam, and you can pop it out like this if you actually want to deploy it. Here you can see some nice blue details there, a couple pieces, a big barrel that you can actually see right down in there, some good lining opportunities. These parts here aren't lined, that's just going to be the way it is when you attach the sliding mechanism into the rest of the tube. And here for the trigger, you're going to be able to bend this up and down, and some nice little bonuses that you're able to pull out this little tab here, and that's going to fit in the manipulator, which is already going to have a tab of its own. And on the other things like the beam rifle, it's actually going to be done up in white, but here they're giving you a nice custom blue piece to go on the inside there. Here when you put this all together, you can see some blue exposed up there on the top. This is a very interesting piece just because it's going to be giving you a knot of blue that actually goes and rings around there. And on the back here, you can see that it's going to be completely empty, but they're going to be giving you this. This is made up of 2 different pieces of red there, so you're not going to be getting 4 individual missiles or anything like that, but they're going to look good when you pop them on. And you've also got this part on the back that I just lazily threw in a little bit of red Gundam marker, but everything here has all the right colors in all the right places, and it's a huge step up on something that you'd see in an HGUC old school RX-78-2 Granddaddy. The shield is very nice and simple in its design. As you can see, it's got some navy blue underneath it there that's going to be dominating the top half. Just some black lining there on the inside and a little bit down here for the ribs if you want to call them that. But you can see the way they protrude here at all sorts of interesting angles though. Make sure you don't make a mistake and forget the polycap though, otherwise you're going to have a hard time getting this out. And up here on the top you can see it's also going to be protruding, but not eye holes like we've already seen on the Granddaddy. Here you're going to notice that some of the channels are a little bit shallow, so you're not going to be able to do that. And on the other hand, you're going to have some that are a little bit too deep, so a $2 lining marker may not work. You may want to go with the ink variety and actually just drop some in there. So this is a hodgepodge of about 3 different black pens. And of course, it could have a very nice, although not the A, I really wish they had given you the shoulder A if you want to throw it on the shield, just so that you have the different option. And I'm talking about the one that came on the HGUC one. Would have been nice if they had given you more options, although the one that they did throw in is pretty sharp looking. For the underside here, you're also going to have another cannon and 4 missiles here. This is actually just one piece, even though the connection between them is well hidden. And for this part, which attaches into the polycap, you can see that you're going to have a good range of movement as it rotates around and goes off to the side, and hopefully is going to stay affixed well. Beam sabers now, where the one in the forearm is going to be surprisingly solid here, as it's definitely just the right size in proportion to a 22-meter Gundam. And you can also see that it's going to have this little tab down here that you can pop out and actually have it fit in the manipulators. But it's going to be this beam saber that's a lot more interest for a lot more people here. First of all, it's incredibly well constructed the way you've got quite a few white pieces here putting this whole thing together. And down here, you've actually got a little bit of an L shape, if you can make it out there. As you take the pink part and attach it onto the white, you're going to be able to move this part up and down, so that's going to look good when you put it into the manipulators. And for the rest of it, it's not going to have any jagged edges to it, but nonetheless, it's going to be thin in the right places and wide in the right parts, and everything here is looking very custom and new. But it's the fin funnels that everybody remembers from the new, and here they are before they're all going to be put together. First of all, you're going to have just down here a blue part on the back, a solid yellow piece that you can put on the inside here with a few gray parts there that are not polycaps. Seal it up here, and it's actually going to leave you with a very nice effect there, as you can see where you can have a connection point there, but you've got the yellow, yellow, and yellow exposed by just what? You've got one yellow piece and one blue piece, but it's going to give you a very nice bit of color separation there. And then you're going to take another yellow piece and plug that in down here and up at the top. And if you compare this to the way that the HGUC use seals all over the place, and these seals definitely do fall off on the drop of a hat here, you can see that some of them are going to stay on, and the top, these parts here are actually yellow with a similar design, but these parts are going to be seals. And then, more interesting though, is going to be the gimmicks where you actually use this for attachment. First of all, if you want to have it attached onto something else, you're going to bend it down to this position where you'll notice that these saw teeth are going to go around, and then you're just going to have these 2 connection points, which is going to need to be seen just how strong that's going to be. And you can flip them up here and store them out of the way if they're not actually in use. And then for this, you're just going to seal up the white part here and not cover up all of the yellow. You can see that you have an attachment point down there. And on the back, some more black lining opportunities. And these parts here are going to fit ever so subtly into the other ones when you actually go and close them up. Like this, where they're going to sit nice and flush. But if you want to bend them over 90 degrees, you can see that they're going to go in. Don't expect anything too fancy in terms of staying in place, but they do feel like they're going to be on there fairly securely. It's just going to be a question of this. And for the rest, you can see here that when you slide it out, you're going to have quite a bit of innards exposed. But when the saw teeth are down between these parts and those little pegs up there, everything is looking pretty sharp. And unfortunately, though the final product is going to look fantastic, if you're looking for secure, this is not the place you want to go to. Just moving them here, I've already had them fall apart on me quite a few times. The grip idea is very ingenious in the way that it can work in all the double fin funnel position and just the regular one, but in terms of the execution here, it just does not really want to cooperate. So first of all, when you're going to put these together, you just want to have one of the 4 parts out here. As you can see that everything else is going to be in the up position. Fold this in here, and then the first 2 are going to be notched up at the top. And here's where you have to be careful here, because you've got a whole bunch of different heights that you can set it at. Now, it's going to be very easy for the first 2, because these are twins and these are twins in terms of height. The only difference being is that number 2 is actually going to be down. But if you go and take a look at the manual for where they're telling you how to put on the fin funnels here, it's not actually going to be laid out that clearly, because when you're looking at this, it's going to be giving you some small indicators there that are not all that clear as to what heights you're going to be attaching these all on. And then, even if you do take a look at these and you go by this, if you go and compare it over here to where these all are supposed to be, as you can see here that the bottom of the blue is just in line with the middle of the yellow one there. This is number 3 and number 2 that I'm talking about. And what you see here is not going to be matching up with what you see here. So you're going to want to look at the box art and just make the best call and decide at whatever height you want to put it at. The fact that you've got that many teeth, though, means you have millions of options. It's just unfortunate that they're not going to make it clear and that they're not going to stay there even when you do choose. And though these are doing a horrible job of staying in place here, whatever height you do decide to set them at, you can just take the final one, which is going to be stretched all the way down, and not actually have it swing its one leg up there. You can just set this one to be a little bit higher than the other ones, which is really going to set up an interesting look. But overall, the looks fantastic, execution though, not there. And if you want to go double fin funnels, the setup is going to be as you see it here for over the left shoulder. You're going to have that nice blue and yellow though. You can't really complain about that being so well exposed. but the first 1 and 2 are going to be folded up, and it's going to be the outermost ones over both of the shoulders that are going to be set in the down position. Of course, this is only referring to when you have 3 and 3 on. But if you want to talk about a monster, well, how about that? It looks like you're heading out on a Ferris wheel. First of all, the Amuro mark is going to look fantastic down there, especially with this oversized connection point back here. The clear parts here, this is very, very well entrenched here when you actually put it in, and you're only going to have 2 options there, but it should be enough to get them up in the air. This is in the more upright position there, but it's going to be very interesting when you actually go to put these together, because if you take a look at the back here, you're going to have these 6 different sections, and you can plug these in. Now what that means is if you do the double fin funnel expansion pack, you could actually have all 12 of them launching out there, as it's going to be 2 and 2. And these are very interesting that all of these parts are going to have some interesting choices here. You can see that it's not exactly in line, that they're going to be at a slight angle here, and it's going to be a little bit offset there, because these are pretty much octagonal here, so that anything that you want to take, you can set these at very different settings in there. You could twist them around all over the place. The only thing being is that everything about these arms, if you do stick them in there, they're going to stay on there pretty well. So you're either going to have a modeler's knife or a plastic separator here, because it's the same thing that you're going to have this octagonal pattern here. You can move them around. It's just if you do squeeze them all the way in, you may have trouble getting them off in any other direction. And you can also move here, and these ones are actually going to move surprisingly easily up and down this way, but they're not going to do very well if you actually want to rotate them. And if you want to get these attached on, you can just swing all of the arms into their down position. You want to take those gray parts that are holding everything together and pop them in at 45s, which is still going to look good with the yellow there, as you can see it even on the insides. And the only thing that it's missing though is effect parts. But when they're all in there, you're definitely going to have an interesting looking attacking set there. Definitely a big step up on anything that's just going to be taking these and sticking them into the action base there. You're really going to want the angles though at a better play. You want to get these all at better angles and all whooshing off in the right directions, and they're always going to look a lot better if they're actually sitting up this way attacking, as opposed to off at the sides at 45 or parallel to the ground there. But if you just get an idea of just how large this Ferris wheel is, here it is with the RX-78-2. Let's see if he can stand up there. He didn't fall over, so you can just see that with a regular Gundam in there, he's going to have some massive spider arms sticking out, Doc Ock style all over the place. And if you get him at the right angles, I think that this could work out to be quite intriguing. Anyway, everybody, stick around. The parts for the new Gundam are going to be next. And as always, let me know what you think. And we'll see you next time, everybody. Bye. You wish, Kyo. The design really does look like something I think you'd see in TIE Fighter.